Welcome back to another episode of the Ministry of Truth. I am the only host on this show. I realize it's kind of dark, so let me fix that real quick. Almost there. Oh, wait, that's not needed. Here we go. Here we go. More light, better. Hey, you can see my bed. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, I have a few stories we're going to go over today. Nothing really, big in the news, but, kind of important. At least I think it's important. And then we're going to go to a little bit of a history lesson. This history lesson is a documentary from Oliver Stone. And it's about our favorite country, your favorite country, my favorite country, Ukraine. Because, you got to put Ukraine flags in your bio. But before we get into that, my bad, Sam. My bad. Yeah. Hopefully you're okay. Would you like some, you need something to keep you from biting your tongue? No? Need some sugar? Alright, oxygen. Yes. But before we get into anything, obviously we gotta start off with a song. I don't know if this is gonna get, YouTube censored. I don't even give a shit. Because we gotta get some good music in. And this one's from the 90s. I hope you enjoy this. The single was released in the 2000s, but this was off their original album. I believe it came out in 1998. Good time to pause. YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. We know. Other people can play music on theirs, but when I want to play a music video, YouTube is like, Hooja kaga, ooga chaga. Bro, you didn't even spell Lincoln right. But it's okay. I forgive you. It's Monday. So
a couple in Volusia County is
from music. A little bit of humor. Not really humor. However, wow, that thing was really wet. Condensation sucks. You like my Medcare pillow back there? My kid's cat? So we're going to go out to the story. This story is out... actually, I got this off Daily Caller. Not sure if I did a story about these two or not. One is the mom, one is the boyfriend. Either way, both of them should be in jail. And I believe they both got arrested. So, without further ado, ladies and... Rockstar, my brother! Good to see you, homie.
Is in jail right now, accused of ditching their toddler to go out drinking.
They left the 2-year-old alone in the car for 2 hours while they allegedly went inside a bar to drink.
There's a baby out here in a car by itself.
Is it running?
It doesn't look like it's running. All right, I just don't want to be anybody to get mad at me, but I just, this is wrong.
Hi.
How did you get the door open?
Made contact with the child. She's been crying in the car.
How did you get the door open?
When officers arrived and opened the car door, the 2-year-old appeared to have been crying for some time as there was dry mucus and tears on the child's face. The arrest affidavit also says the child was wearing thin clothing not suitable for the weather and was cold to the touch.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you the owner of this vehicle?
I am the owner of the vehicle, but I'm not her mother.
Okay.
So he knows there's a kid in the car. His vehicle. My question is, how did the doors get unlocked before he came outside? Because she went to open the front door and it didn't open, but then in the next clip, a second later, the back doors are open and she's taking the kid out. Were the doors unlocked, or... I'm confused, because if the doors were unlocked, that's an even bigger issue, too.
She's inside. I just grabbed the keys from her and check on her.
Check on who?
Her.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is Josh. I'm her boyfriend, the mother of this child.
Okay. All right, what's her name? No.
Christina, she's inside.
What's going on, Christina? Christina, come stay with me. Got an idea of why we're here.
Yeah.
She's fine. You can stay with me.
I told her multiple times to go in the car and go to my house.
Did she have any drinks while she was in there?
At the very last minute, I think yes.
Okay.
Like right before I came out here.
At any point did she say she has a kid in the car?
She told me yes, she did.
She told you yes. When was that?
This is when I came out here.
Oh, okay, but you drove there.
All this shit fucking happened, honestly.
I can.
I fucking
You brought her to a bar.
Yeah, and you know what?
And you sat inside.
And I also asked you to leave how many times?
I told you to fucking
You're right,
leave.
but
I told you not to come here.
You didn't tell me not to come.
I said go home.
You know what, Josh?
I said go to the house.
Your charges are going to get dismissed, but
I
mine
will
aren't.
meet you there.
Cool. Your charges are going to get dismissed, and mine fucking aren't.
Well, guess what? I still got to deal with this shit. And guess
Right.
what?
Fucking too, honey.
I could have fucking bonded you out.
I just don't understand how he didn't know if that was his car. Did, like, she smuggle him in her purse and be like, hold on, I gotta put my purse in the back seat. In reality, it wasn't the purse, it was the baby. Child.
But now, I'm fucking handcuffed with you in this stupid-ass fucking pig car.
Can you just, like, calm down for just...
No, because I haven't done shit wrong. I haven't done nothing fucking wrong.
know, but it's not
That's why I'm
Well,
flipping
now you're
out.
damaging
I'm
police
flipping
property.
out because I haven't done shit wrong. I didn't do nothing wrong. I was minding my own fucking business. Here, I told you I'll beat you to the fucking house. Now I'm fucking in handcuffs. Now I'm fucking dealing with this shit. And now I gotta fucking deal with my face in a public forum with fucking child neglectry and all over it tomorrow. And I gotta fucking deal with that bullshit.
39-year-old Joshua Harris appeared before a judge on Wednesday.
Ms. Vitucci, you're here on a charge of neglect of a child.
In a separate hearing just minutes apart, 35-year-old Christina Vitucci joined from inside the jail via Zoom. The public defender appointed to them pled their case.
Your Honor, no prior violent convictions and no failures to appear within 2 years.
The judge decided to keep both of them in jail on a $5,000 bond.
Good.
This lady came up, tied up.
Crazy situation, but it kind of had a happy ending. I still have a lot of questions that they didn't address in that video, which obviously they won't, because, like I said, if that door was unlocked, it could have been worse. It couldn't. Maybe it wouldn't have been in cops. Just saying. Now we're gonna go from some pretty shitty ass parents to a crazy fucking incident that I caught in this video from, hold on, let me say they put the date in it. Nope, I guess it'll talk over it. So, long story short, Amazon deliveries, Chinese people and Mexican people don't mix.
Here holding her child. I think someone took her other child.
She only knocked with a package, and she's waiting for someone from Amazon for her baby girl.
Apparently, they walked to that bedroom like they knew that there was a baby. Like they were on like a mission. They like tied her up, went to the room, took the baby, and left.
They put her baby in the Amazon box.
Authorities rushed to a chaotic scene after receiving alarming reports that a mother's 7-month-old baby was taken by 2 individuals posing as Amazon delivery drivers. As the investigation unfolds, shocking discoveries bring them one step closer to uncovering the suspects, whose true identities they never saw coming.
A few months ago, he called her and she had mentioned that she could make money by selling a kid.
The following report is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that all persons charged with a crime are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. In Federal Way, Washington, on February 20th, 2024, officers began to receive multiple 911 calls from the Mariposa apartment complex, just 20 miles south of Seattle.
I had someone come to my door with a rag on her face, like a rag on her mouth and like a zip tie. Okay. And she just, I don't know, she's telling me that her daughter got lost or someone took her daughter. And I didn't let her in the house because I got scared I was going to get kidnapped or something.
Okay, so how long ago was this?
It's literally just been 5 minutes ago. I thought she was like playing around or something.
Did she look injured at all?
No, I don't know. She doesn't look injured. She's just crying, but she's saying that she lost her daughter.
Did you see anybody around her?
No, I didn't. I just closed the door.
The dispatcher sends an officer to investigate, just as another call comes through.
We at Melrose Apartments, and I am a maintenance guy. This lady came up to us, tied up her hands, holding her child. She's crying. She's very hysterical right now, and she's Spanish. So
You said she had a child also?
yes, she is holding her daughter beside her hands now.
Okay, you don't see anybody with any weapons right now?
I think someone took her other child.
Is she able to tell you what happened?
She's speaking Spanish, so I don't understand it.
By the time the officer arrives at the scene, the victim's husband, who was out working as a food delivery driver during the attack, has also just arrived. Since the victim speaks only Spanish, a concerned neighbor steps in to translate, allowing the officer to grasp the urgency of the situation.
She walked down through here and came upstairs and came up to us, tied up, holding child. So that's when he...
So is the child missing?
Yeah, there's
that's the child missing. Her child?
Yeah,
no, the other one.
No, another one.
But this is her child?
But this is her child.
Yeah.
And she does have pictures of her baby girl, but they took her phone.
Did you see them leave in a certain direction?
She said that they shut her in one of the closets. Yeah, because she lives downstairs. So when they knocked, she only knocked with a package, and she's waiting for someone from Amazon for her baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
So she opened the door. She didn't think anything of it. So as soon as she opened the door, she said the woman started to beat her. And they ran into her kitchen for a knife, so they tied her up. They tied her.
Sure they're gone?
She said that she checked everywhere before she got out, and she said she didn't see anything in there.
Her child? How old is your child?
She's 7 months old.
7 months?
7 months. It's a baby girl.
Several officers head downstairs to the victim's apartment, performing a routine sweep.
Push one.
Hold on, just hold that. I just want to see if we can find this kid.
After searching every room, the suspects and the missing baby are nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, the neighbor continues to...
Sam, you're kind of half right, but it wasn't the mother.
To translate as the victim describes her attackers.
Oh, she said that the girl was wearing a ski mask. It looked like a snow one, like the type that someone would go to skiing.
What up, Daddy?
In her house. Yeah, inside her house. The man was tall. He had some sunglasses on.
Were you zip tied like this or like this?
No.
And
she kept running out. He found her. She kept running zip tied.
Oh, and they also duct taped her baby's mouth.
The baby that they took?
No, the little girl that he had.
A Spanish-speaking officer arrives at the scene and takes a more detailed statement from the mother before filling in the other officers on what he's learned.
Let me catch you up real quick. So she's at home with her 2 kids, husband's at work, knock on the door. These 2 folks show up holding a big Amazon box. She's never gotten an Amazon package before. She opens the door for them. They start punching her. They push her down. They tied her up. She's got injuries consistent with that. They snag her baby, put it in the box, and then they shove her into one of the other bedrooms where she's holding the other kid. She didn't get much. I didn't say anything, just like be quiet. And then I left.
Did she ever see the suspect?
No idea why they picked her.
Has she been out anywhere, or did they have followed her back?
Never got there yet.
According to the victim, she only moved into the apartment 8 days ago, and no one but immediate family knew her address.
Where was the baby when they went into the apartment?
She said they went like right. She even said like they went right for the room. I don't know how they knew that's where the room was.
Have you or your husband had anybody over visiting?
No. Solo tienen 8 días aquí, va? Yeah, they've only been here 8 days.
It's so odd that they would know where to go.
The attacker's apparent knowledge of exactly where to go inside the apartment would later prove to be a crucial clue in identifying potential suspects. In the meantime, as officers canvass the apartment complex, they locate a neighbor with a security camera and request access to the footage. At 8:23 a.m., a white sedan can be seen backing into the parking space just above the victim's downstairs apartment. The suspects remain inside the vehicle for nearly an hour as multiple people and maintenance workers pass close by. Finally, at 9:18 a.m., the suspects begin to emerge. Another neighbor in the complex would later describe seeing the suspects from her apartment.
I seen 2 people standing, one male with a blue jacket on and a baseball cap, and I seen a female with a gray puffy jacket and a beanie on and with a Corona mask on, and they both looked Mexican to me.
No, not the husband.
And they were just standing at this apartment that I know that they shouldn't have been, and it looked really awkward to me. And then the lady was looking at me kind of crazy, and she had her phone in her hand, and it looked as if she was recording.
The male suspect is captured on camera retrieving an Amazon box from the back seat of the car. After that, both suspects vanish from view for nearly 20 minutes before reappearing on camera.
I saw those same 2 people moving really fast to their car, holding a red bag that looks something like a Uber Eats bag to keep the food warm.
Almost like a cooler, like a Southside cooler.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the male is the one holding it, and the woman, she was really rushing to the car. She jumped in the passenger seat, and then the male, he went around the car. He was going to go to the back door, but for some reason, he didn't put the bag. Looked like he was going to put it in there, but he had a second thought for some reason and brought it up to the front. Then after that, they took off really fast.
Although the baby's mother initially recalled the suspects placing her child inside the Amazon box, surveillance footage suggests they then transferred the baby into the bag. Who the suspects were and why they would take the child leaves officers grasping for answers.
They don't owe anyone money? They don't have any ill will to anybody?
Not that we're getting, at least at this point.
However, the baby's grandparents raise suspicions, forcing officers to consider the kidnapper may be closer to the family than they've yet to realize.
So he mentioned that this niece of his was very adamant about getting her address to send a gift. And it was so weird because she never reaches out to me. But then just now he said that a few months ago he called her and she had mentioned that she could make money by selling a kid. And that she was about making that money. And whose niece is this? His niece that lives in Miami.
According to the baby's grandfather, his niece Margie is the victim's cousin. The gift, intended to be a crib for the baby, was from her and her husband Vincent. With this new information, one officer heads over to speak to the baby's father.
Sir, can I, did you get a phone call from a family member today?
Yeah, but now they're not answering.
Could we see that phone number? Who is this? Who is this?
That's who's been calling them all morning.
What family member is that?
Okay, it's tu prima, cousin. She says now her suspicion is starting to go because they were gonna order her baby clothes.
Her baby clothes?
Yeah, the same girl.
Her baby clothes.
Yeah, so that's why she didn't think anything of it when she opened the Amazon package, and it's supposed to get here today.
Did she see where did they put the baby?
¿En qué se llevaron la bebé? ¿No más en brazos? Sí, pero la bebé le echaron a la caja. They put her baby in the Amazon box. In the same box.
Does the woman resemble her cousin?
What's up, Carolyn?
She doesn't think so?
No. So she said that the people from Amazon the girl said that the people from Amazon said that they couldn't get to the address. So they needed the layout of like how to get into what the apartments looked like, driving, and like what the inside of her.
That's crazy because it was only 8 days, but they seemed like they cased out the place. Like I said, they knew exactly where the kid was going to be and everything.
House and the outside of her house looked like.
What call?
And she sent them a video.
Who?
Her cousin.
She sent her cousin a video.
Yeah.
According to the baby's mother, her cousin Margie had been calling her all morning, but now isn't answering the phone. As the translator continues to explain, it isn't the only glaring red flag.
And she did mention that she deactivated all her social media.
Who did?
The cousin.
When?
Appreciate you, Careless.
Last night.
Despite clues suggesting the victim's cousin Margie may be involved, doubt is cast when the mother is asked to recall details about her attackers.
I have a question. So, like, did they feel familiar? Did the lady feel familiar to her at all? Was there any characteristics on that woman that would match her niece? No?
No. They didn't look like no one that she knew.
And just so, I know we asked this already, and apologize for that I'm asking again, but the race of the lady, did she have a Hispanic accent?
Wasn't it a Russian accent? That's what we originally had, so I'm curious if that's...
She said they were speaking another language, and it definitely wasn't English.
That's it. They said it wasn't English, or it was... I had to pause this because I'm getting that warning. She said that they weren't speaking English. I think I paused her right before they said they weren't speaking Spanish. It's interesting. Little interesting tidbit.
Or Spanish?
Yeah, or Spanish.
What's up, Angela?
While confusion lingers over the ethnicity of the attackers, a sudden phone call puts everyone on high alert.
She said it was another language. That they said
She said that she wasn't. Just now, she mentioned that she's not sure what he looked like there. That everything was just happening.
Okay. And they were wearing ski masks, right? Both of them?
No. The guy
was wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
The woman was
a ski mask. Okay. What race was the male? Have we figured that out?
She had mentioned that he was black. Can you ask again what race he was?
I don't remember her ever saying black. But okay.
The cousin is talking right now.
Can you translate for me?
Pero aquí no ha llegado ninguna caja.
She's telling her that she's lying to her right now. Not making her.
The box already arrived.
She's saying?
The cousin is saying that the box already arrived.
Envíeme el pantallazo aquí al WhatsApp de Sarín. Yo ya se lo envié. Lo envié a tu marido. No. Envíemelo al WhatsApp de Sarín para yo mirar, ¿sí?
So I can see it.
Y es que no se lo envié al suyo. No es que May lo tenía y no sé qué lo hizo. Bueno.
It's missing, or that the baby is missing.
She's telling you?
No, she's not telling me.
No, ella está actuando normal.
That's a good thing. Right
Okay, she said she's acting all normal, that she already sent like a screenshot of the package or whatever.
Mama.
Oh, that's her mom. Yeah.
Did she hang up already?
Yeah, she hung up with the girl, and then the girl, she was like, "Go send me like a screenshot of like the package that already arrived." And then she was like, "I sent it to your phone." And then she was like, "I lost." She was like, "Oh, someone, her sister misplaced her phone. They don't want to tell her anything that's going on."
Okay.
No pudieron rastrear mi celular.
But I guess she's still.
So if there's any way that you guys can track the phone.
That's what we're working on right now.
Eso es lo que están intentando hacer es rastrear tu celular.
According to multiple news reports, police were able to trace the victim's phone, which the suspects took with them after the attack. That, in conjunction with license plate readers, led to the car being located driving on the highway about 4 hours after the attack was carried out. The baby was unharmed and reunited with her mother. The victim's cousin, 24-year-old Margie Harina Ardila Orego, along with her husband Chun-Ho Vincent Lai, were arrested.
You hear that name? Chung-Ho Vincent Lai? Doesn't sound like a very Hispanic last name. Is he Chinese? Because, Chinese people like to sell babies.
With the help of a translator on speakerphone, detectives read Margie her Miranda rights and begin to question her.
Can you explain why they brought you here?
Ellos deben de saber por qué estoy acá.
You must know why I'm here.
Well, I'm here to ask you why you think you're here and why we're here. I'm basically trying to get your side of the story today.
Pero no voy a responder nada hasta que no tengo un abogado.
I won't answer anything until I have a lawyer.
Though Vincent also declined to speak with detectives, he did have a question for officers as he was prepared for transport to jail.
Can I ask you one thing?
Yeah.
How is the baby?
The baby's fine.
You know what's funny? Hearing him ask that question. How many pedophiles have asked the catchers, well, is the child real? How's the child doing? Or what was the one that Alex had the other day, the Bookham guy? Oh, fuck, I don't remember. It was like 2 days ago. Anyway, pedophiles always... I had the child's... I'm not saying he was a pedophile, but he's probably going to sell him into sex slavery. Anyway. So this one... A lot of us have kids that are around the age that play Fortnite, Roblox, and shit like that, which I really didn't really know too much about until about a couple years ago, and now I'm finding out more and more and more about it, especially Minecraft and all this shit. And there was a bunch of other games out there whose name I can't remember. Not games, but like online simulators. I did a video on it before I got my channel deleted, so I'm not going to do it again.
How does something like
there it is,
this
Easton.
happen? An 11-year-old boy whose parents only had basic birds and bees stranger danger talks with has his first sexual experience with a man 13 years older than him online. That same man now tied to at least 6 boys as young as 10 in at least 3 states.
This was so grotesque and so over the top and so sexual in nature that it didn't even cross my mind that this is something that we would have to deal with.
These Scottsdale parents asked us to conceal their identity. Their son was only 11 when they caught a pedophile sending him graphic videos.
We had parental controls in place. We thought we were doing everything right. We checked his phone. We checked his computer.
They even paid for extra safety apps and features.
That's good, Yeti. That's real
Unfortunately,
good.
the technology is very difficult to make bulletproof.
Nothing could have prepared them for the stranger who singled out their son.
It would not have occurred to me to say, and if a man shows you a picture of his penis, this is what you should do.
Their son is on the autism spectrum with ADHD.
So playing games and being online was sort of his outlet.
Fortnite is his favorite game. That's where he met this man.
Sir, state your name and date of birth.
Look at his tits.
Lozano, December 8th, 2000.
Jacob Lozano lied about his age to groom preteen boys online.
Ooh,
he moved them from
that's not
Fortnite to Discord, and it started happening very, very quickly.
Maricopa County Prosecutor Maggie Toth says the digital evidence is irrefutable.
What he would videotape and send to them were things that no 11-year-old child should ever have to see.
That popular platform Discord lets hundreds of millions of users share videos and live chat.
I can honestly say I've never been on Discord. I really don't have a need for it. And if I have, I don't remember it. But Discord just to me never was like, I think I'm going to download Discord and see what's up. No.
Clicking a simple button to bypass so-called age restrictions.
It would go from talking about sexual acts openly to what do you like to do to yourself.
This man didn't have any criminal history, right?
He did not.
But no one does until they're caught.
Exactly.
That's why what these parents did as soon as they found out made all the difference, helping detectives build a case.
Scottsdale Police Department was able to identify the boys in Arizona, a boy in California, and I believe 2 boys in Georgia. There are more unknown victims.
They were on vacation.
In Georgia, that should be your
Grandma walked
fucking...
into their son's room before school.
She said, I saw
This would be federal
picture
FBI
of
investigation.
male genitalia on his computer. What should I do?
Mom checked her emotions, locked down her son's apps and accounts, and reached out to police who took over his gaming console.
I sort of immediately knew that if there is something going on, we want to preserve everything that's been said and sent, because if we weren't very careful about it, then we could lose all the information that would tell us the extent of what he had been exposed to.
Does it ever show in the digital record that a voice chat happened or a length of time?
That's where it becomes a black hole, that we don't know what happens beyond that.
Because unless it's being recorded, it's gone.
Oh, I'm not saying all
While
Discord's
Discord's
bad, Sam.
platform
I'm just saying
guidelines
I've
say
never
they have a
really
zero-tolerance policy against grooming, sexual
had a desire
exploitation
to
of
use it.
minors, and content that
I think the
sexualizes
most I ever did
children,
was
that they will
Slack,
report and
and then I
ban
got kicked from
users.
that.
They do not scan direct messages and group chats for illegal content.
The penalty after trial is significant. These are essentially numerous life counts.
Lozano pleaded guilty, sentenced to 32 years and lifetime probation as a level 3 sex offender. Detectives say Lozano sent cash and gift cards to some of the boys in exchange for sexual videos.
They know that these may not be things that they want to do, so if I say I'm going to send you a gift card for $100, well, then maybe I'll do it.
We heard from the detective that even one child, he delivered a pizza to his house.
I will never forgive myself for this happening under my nose.
To protect your kids, experts suggest you set screen time limits and check their accounts. Watch for red flags like sneaking to play or hiding their screens. And no matter how young your child is, if you're letting them on any social platform, tell them to come to you if anyone shows them or talks to them about body parts covered by a
What are you
bathing
talking
suit.
about, Laura? You were there when I got excommunicado. Huh? Huh? Still love you, though. That's why you're here.
It's as awkward as it might be, as difficult as it might be, as busy as you might be, you still have to do it.
Their son is in counseling, and they say got solicited again not long after they allowed him
That's
back
crazy.
online.
I think it's not if this will happen, but probably when.
That's fucking
That's why-
crazy when you think that, like, that kid got his devices taken away, right? And then all of it, the investigation was done. They gave him his device, the parents, let him play a game. And 2 weeks later, another fucking predator? What the fuck, man? All right. So we're going from one type of criminal, you know, people that shouldn't be parents, and we're going to, what's up, clown? We're going to switch courses onto the other half of what I want to talk about today. So that's all behind us, and now we're going to deal with
To some, he's a modern-day George Washington to his nation. To others, he's just another Eastern European leader entangled in controversy. Many people believe that he is deeply involved in corruption. Regardless of one's beliefs, his journey from comedian to president has been extraordinary, and opinions on his leadership and ethics are as polarized as ever.
look at that court jester, mother.
Volodymyr Zelensky's presidency is a labyrinth of war, politics, corruption, and controversy. Accusations of embezzlement by his political and military associates, as well as himself, have spanned the spectrum. So let's look at the man behind the Ukrainian resistance to Russia, his platform, policies, and relationship with the West, and the corruption accusations that have been made. Who is Volodymyr Zelensky? How did he come to power? Why is he controversial? How bad is the damage done by his administration due to corruption? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, former history professor, Army and Marine Corps veteran, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History.
It is, Sam.
Volodymyr Zelensky, a former actor and comedian, threw his hat in the ring and ran for the presidency of Ukraine when he announced his candidacy on New Year's Eve 2018. To many, it was considered a publicity stunt. Zelensky was thereafter elected to a 5-year term in 2019. But due to his public display of disillusionment with Ukraine's history of corruption among the political elite, his outsider image and anti-corruption message resonated, and in April 2019, he received 73% of the vote in a historical landslide in Ukraine. But then Zelensky went after other likely future rivals, such as former President Petro Poroshenko, who was accused of using his position for personal gain, has been entangled in numerous legal battles, although there has not been
comedian, kind of like an SNL type guy.
Any real evidence presented. Poroshenko had appointed financiers to run the national bank, tasked with cleaning up the banking system.
Speaking of financiers, wait to hear who Zelensky's biggest financier was in his 2019 election campaign.
Poroshenko also created the National Anti-Corruption Bureau that was tasked to investigate crimes by the nation's top officials, both former and current presidents, prosecutors, judges, ministers, and governors. This investigation included companies doing business in violation of Ukrainian and international law, such as Burisma, which is tied to the Biden crime family, where exorbitant payments were sent to the Bidens in order to gain influence while Joe Biden was vice president. Zelensky saw this as an opportunity, and he campaigned on cleaning up government and targeted political rivals, especially Poroshenko, which challenged his Western allies' support as they have warned against political score settling, cautioning that Ukraine must uphold democratic integrity. The first prosecutor general to be appointed by Zelensky, Ruslan Ryabashapka, was fired by Zelensky in March 2020 for his refusal to sign off on charges against Poroshenko, which he called legal trash. Zelensky being labeled as a tyrannical dictator may have some merit. Attempts to prosecute Poroshenko, for which there is no evidence of corruption, have stirred the belief of corruption by Zelensky's actions. The U.S. Embassy posted a statement warning that justice system should not be used for the purpose of settling political scores. Stephen Pfeiffer, the former U.S. ambassador, settling
war zone, all these tanks in the street. It's like, hey guys, we're just out here for looks and shits and giggles. You want to come look at and touch my tank? Huh? You want to touch my tank, don't you? Yeah, I know you want to touch my tank. Leave your boyfriend over there. Come touch my tank.
Political scores. Stephen Pfeiffer, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, also pointed to the political witch hunts as corruption, while Roman Washuk, the former Canadian ambassador to Ukraine, agreed that Zelensky was purging political rivals without cause. A survey by the Kiev International Institute of Sociology, which included interviews with over 13,000 people, including internally and externally displaced Ukrainians, said that 77% of those surveyed said that next to the war, corruption was the country's most serious problem.
Oh.
Zelensky wanted Ukraine to join the European Union, but due to the history of corruption in that country, that would be unlikely for some time. His other request was to be admitted into NATO, which was more of a...
So he wanted to be in NATO, and NATO's like, you know what, you're in too much trouble. Yeah, you got corruption. And then he's like, oh, I wonder how we're going to fix this. America, how do we fix this? Let's talk to your Israeli financier.
A possibility, but there were problems. Russian dictator Vladimir Putin was already quite upset that the Baltic states and Eastern European nations had requested to join NATO in violation of an agreement that NATO would not extend eastward, which he deemed a threat to Russia. In 2014,
I thought I was making that shit up, didn't you? Huh? Now it looks like I'm not so crazy.
Forces had attacked and captured the Crimean Peninsula without any serious American protest by President Barack Obama, and after the election of Joseph Biden in 2020, the disastrous evacuation of Afghanistan, and the Biden administration's feckless and absent positions on most world affairs, Putin saw his opportunity. But it was Ukraine submitting and being considered for NATO membership, as well as the ethnic Russians living in the Don Basin and elsewhere, that gave Putin his perceived justification to invade Ukraine, starting the war on February 24, 2022. After Russia invaded, the polls came out, and Zelensky launched a very public investigation into bribery related to military recruitment. Meanwhile, Ukraine's parliamentary...
Wait, bribery into military recruitment? Have you guys seen the latest Ukrainian recruitment videos? Yeah, you have to look for them because they really make you want to be a proud Ukrainian when they do these videos, when they're drafting people. And by recruitment, I mean, oh, you're walking on the street? Yeah, we need you.
Anti-Corruption Policy Committee has identified problems in a new bill on conscription that could give rise to corruption risks after Zelensky announced on December 19, 2022, the likely mobilization of 500,000 recruits. Zelensky would have been due for re-election in the spring of 2024, but on February 24, 2022, when Russia invaded, Zelensky...
You know, it's funny when you look at this. Maybe it's just me. Why does the top of the flagpole have a trident like Neptune or some shit?
On February 24, 2022, when Russia invaded, Zelensky imposed martial law, and that invoked Ukrainian law, which prohibits elections during martial law.
Hence, no election in 2025. For a country that's supposed to be, or for a fight, slow down, for a country that I just forgot what I was talking about. We're going to continue.
This has been the policy since Russia's invasion. Despite
Since we're fighting for, the world's democracy and people's ability to live free like we do in the United States, we're going to cancel your elections. You're going to cancel your elections, and we're totally okay with that because that's the democratic thing to do, right? Right.
The legal justification, critics argue that Ukraine must demonstrate democratic resilience and allow elections even in wartime. And there are supporters as well as opponents of this fact. Lee Rini and Joel Wasserman, who are based in Ukraine, wrote for Foreign Policy in July 2023, stating, "This can be expected from a country fighting for its very existence, where significant portions of its territory are occupied. Martial law is established as a concept in the Ukrainian constitution and last updated by the national legislature in 2015 before Zelensky entered politics. Article 19 of Ukraine's martial law legislation specifically forbids conducting national elections. Thus, for Ukraine to conduct elections while under martial law would be a violation of legal norms that predate Zelensky and the full-scale Russian invasion." Critics also accurately state that during World War II, the USA and Great Britain still held elections, while Germany, Italy, and Japan did not, as they were dictatorships, putting Zelensky in the latter category, as he could have Ukrainian parliament vote to change the law. A second survey by Interfax Ukraine, a Ukrainian news agency, in conjunction with the Kiev International Institute of Sociology, which was carried out for the Ilko Kucherev Democratic Initiatives Foundation think tank, saw 94% of Ukrainians believing Zelensky was corrupt. After this survey was released, Zelensky...
Their own people think he's corrupt. 94%, 96%. It was 90-something. My mind is like a little hazy sometimes, even though it just happened. Over 90% of Ukrainians think he's corrupt. And it was a really good idea for us to send billions and billions and billions of dollars to get laundered through them.
Zelensky dismissed all the heads of Ukraine's regional military committees in what was perceived as political damage control. Zelensky's public anti-corruption drive has seen high-profile officials removed or investigated. Defense Minister Rustem Umerov revealed an audit uncovering $262 million in military procurement corruption. In August 2023, Zelensky dismissed all the heads of the regional military recruitment centers after reports surfaced of bribery schemes helping people avoid the draft. One accusation was that all well-to-do Ukrainians had to do was pay off officials to not join the military, and many of them fled Ukraine. The defense minister, Alexei Reznikov, has come under criticism after his ministry signed a contract to procure food for the military at inflated prices. Deputy Infrastructure Minister Vasyl Lozinski was arrested for allegedly accepting a bribe of $400,000 when the Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office said it exposed and stopped the activities of an organization criminal group involved in the embezzlement of budget funds. Zelensky's replacement defense minister Rustem Umerov, after 4 months in office, said an audit had uncovered corruption connected to the military procurement for another $262 million.
Wait. So even his own boy found $262 million worth of corruption.
For which he blamed his predecessor, Alexei Reznikov, who had resigned. 2 senior officials were dismissed over allegations that the Defense Ministry had inflated contracts for food supplied to troops, including eggs, and one official was arrested on suspicions that he embezzled nearly $40 million in the fraudulent purchase of much-needed artillery shells for Ukraine's military. The problem was the shells were never delivered, and the money was instead sent to various accounts in Ukraine and in the Balkans, investigators said. Ukraine's prosecutor general said that the funds have since been seized and will be returned to the country's defense budget. After all of these actions, another poll, which cited a statement by the think tank's executive director, Petro Burkovsky, reported that 77.6% of surveyed Ukrainians still believed that Zelensky was directly responsible for the corruption despite his firings and bringing charges against those in government. The main question was, where did the money go? In an interview with the Associated Press on February 2, 2025, Zelensky stated, "When I hear that America gave Ukraine hundreds of billions of dollars, 177 to be more precise, as the president of a warring country, I can tell you that we received just over 75. We are talking about specific things because we got it, not with money, but with weapons. There is training, there is additional transport. These are not only prices for weapons. There were humanitarian programs, social, etc. $100 billion of these 177 we never received. When it's said that Ukraine received $200 billion to support the army during the war, that is not true. I don't know where all the money is." Zelensky referred to both $177 billion and $200 billion regarding supporting the army, where aid helped all elements of the Ukrainian armed forces, and he appears to include only weapons as aid received. Yet, outside observers, such as former Polish Deputy Minister Piotr Kolpa, claim that up to 50% of U.S. aid to Ukraine has been embezzled to corrupt Ukrainian officials and U.S. political networks, including NGOs, USAID, and even the State Department under the Biden administration, and politicians who siphoned this money.
You gotta be shitting me. So he wore a suit when he met with the president, Joe Biden. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, this dude's a shitbag. Even more now.
According to Kolpa, Ukraine did not get as much American aid as the Biden administration reported.
So that vehicle they just showed, this is the vehicle that went missing in Lithuania, I think. 4 crew members, they found 3 of them so far dead. And there's still one missing because it ended up going into a bog and no one found him. I think it's like 2 weeks later, a week or 2 later, they found the vehicle.
According to Kolpa, Ukraine did not get as much American aid as the Biden administration reported, and what it did receive was substantially embezzled. Pyotr Kulpa claims Ukrainian authorities, including Zelensky, misappropriated up to half of the financial aid given to Kiev. Kulpa also told Ukrainian journalist Lana Shevchuk that everyone understands that war-related corruption is linked not only with Ukraine but also the supplier nation. Who would ever believe that the U.S. burned through $2 trillion in Afghanistan? It's delusional. Kulpa also accused U.S. aid programs of writing off large sums of money that finance shady systems under Democratic Party control. Kulpa suggested that the Trump administration might analyze government finances and discovered that Ukraine got very little in comparison to publicly declared amounts, and that a large chunk of the funds were stolen from 30% to 50%, regardless of the nature of the aid. Criticizing the massive salaries and bonuses Ukrainian officials pocketed, Kulpa further expressed that if the country could retrieve all the stolen money, it would have sufficient funds for a year. Anatol Levin, Eurasia Program Director at the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft in Washington, D.C., in an interview with Newsweek, asserted that claims of graft and corruption against Zelensky played into deeper Republican criticisms of corruption and the waste of U.S. aid in many other countries around the world. These are being instrumentalized to reduce U.S. aid, where in fact it would.
Look at this.
These are
no genius. Maybe my eyes are fucked up and all. But look at this weapon, right? Okay, got it. So this portion right here where he's looking through the scope, why does this part right here on a weapon that fires a rocket make it look like it's made of styrofoam? Is this a picture just for shits and giggles? And he's wearing yellow tape, so obviously it's a heat cat injury. So yeah, this must have been a training mission.
Being instrumentalized to reduce U.S. aid, where in fact it would have been honestly used and very useful. Zelensky has been told repeatedly in public and in private that he simply must do something very visible to crack down on corruption to help the Biden administration get its aid package through Congress. Accusations have also been directed at United States lawmakers in both parties who have been fervently supporting U.S. financial and military assistance to Ukraine. These accusations are serious, and listing the following members of Congress as possibly having received kickbacks for their votes to send assistance to Ukraine is noteworthy. Some of those listed actually have had direct influence, if not direct financial interest, in many of these organizations, such as USAID and NGOs handling the money.
Dude, look at that building.
Those persons on the list
supposedly walk the streets in Ukraine, right? You got what? Maybe two shooters on it, one on each side. No protective gear whatsoever, right? And then you have, come on, Nancy Pelosi and a few other people walking down the streets like nothing is fucking happening. And don't forget when Canada invited a Ukrainian war veteran to speak there, not realizing that he was a Ukrainian Nazi.
Those persons on the list, supposedly released by Ukrainian whistleblowers, and which is yet to be verified as factual, include the following lawmakers on both sides of the aisle and in both houses of Congress. Democrats include Joseph Biden, $92 million, Nancy Pelosi, $86 million, Chuck Schumer, $66 million, Adam Schiff, $62 million, Liz Cheney, $77 million, while Republicans on the list include Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell at $89 million, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham at $82 million, former Utah Senator Mitt Romney at $71 million, Texas Representative Dan Crenshaw, $20 million, and Texas Senator John Cornyn at $41 million. Now, this list may grow. And I remind you,
some of the same people that were going after Pete Hegseth.
There is yet no proof as to the correct denominations or even if these politicians received money as a result of the aid. The direct corruption by lawmakers is speculative. That will likely surface after the completed DOJ audit. Those listed as receiving money is incredible if true, and as of yet, this information provided is unverified, but it is under investigation. Elon Musk has proven USAID corruption, supporting the claim that 58% of taxpayer dollars never even reached Ukraine, and much of that did arrive was stolen. While retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, Trump's special advisor to Ukraine, makes a logical claim that most of the money remains in the U.S. for manufacturing and replacing weapons and vehicles that go to Ukraine, and those costs are factored in. Rumors about Zelensky's personal finances have gone viral. Upon assuming office in May 2019, Zelensky's official salary as president of Ukraine was a modest $770 per month. This placed him firmly below many Western leaders in terms of official compensation. But his personal wealth has come under intense scrutiny. Conservative activists have circulated allegations that he owns a $20 million mansion in Miami or a $48 million yacht, claims that are in dispute. Leaked Pandora papers, which are questionable, revealed that he and his associates held offshore assets linked to media ventures, which is not illegal, but did launch a great debate over whether they contradicted his anti-corruption stance. Now, some of these assets were registered in the British Virgin Islands, Cyprus, and Belize. These companies were linked to media licensing rights and asset management for Kvartal 95's intellectual properties. Zelensky's defenders argue that offshore structures were often used by Ukrainian businesses to protect themselves from political persecution and aggressive asset grabs, which were not uncommon, and they were risk protections for high-profile entrepreneurs in Ukraine's volatile pre-war environment. But it also allowed for massive corruption. Critics questioned Zelensky's purchase of a luxury London apartment valued at $3.8 million in 2016, while supporters argue that his net worth was about $12 million due to his career as an actor and was prior to his becoming president.
Wait a minute. So he was a TV guy who became president, and the left loves him. We have a TV guy who became president, and the left can't stand him.
Particularly interesting asset in Zelensky's portfolio was that luxury apartment in London. But Zelensky claimed the property was intended as an investment linked to his production company's overseas earnings, and the purchase was made before his presidency, which has been verified. In his legally mandated financial disclosures, Zelensky reported ownership of several properties, including a spatial apartment in central Kiev, additional residential property in the upmarket Petrix district.
That's his London apartment? Why does he have all that military clothing? Like he's going to war. You think this guy gets sponsored by 511?
A stake in commercial real estate tied to Kvartal 95's operations. Lauren Witzke, a far-right activist and 2020 Republican Senate nominee for Delaware, recirculated a claim that Zelensky had bought a $20 million mansion in Vero Beach, Florida, as she called for the U.S. to cut off Ukraine from funding. However, Zelensky's name does not appear in the documents for the property ownership, but it is owned by a company to which Zelensky apparently has financial connections. Even Zelensky's wife, Olena Zelenska, has been accused of using a diplomatic trip to France to go on a $40,000 shopping spree in Paris in December 2022. In October 2023, a claim went viral that she spent $1.1 million at the Cartier store in New York while on diplomatic business, which is yet to be verified, but even if true, is not a crime if it's their money. In her defense, Zelenska may have been a target of disinformation. as she was also accused of buying a private
Wait,
island.
did you say Zelenska? Zelensky? That's... Why would she do that to herself?
Of Pumpkin Key, Florida, worth $95 million, despite the property remaining on the market at the time the claims were made in a Russian TikTok video. According to a 2021 Transparency International report, Ukraine is the second most corrupt country in Europe after Russia and ranks 122nd globally among...
Wow, second to Russia, huh? And we're sending them money and equipment, and we still want to, protect them? The second most corrupt country in Europe, next to Russia.
On 180 countries. Ukraine's anti-corruption operation, which targeted several high-profile figures and uncovered luxury watches, homes, cars, and thousands of dollars in cash, is noteworthy. Ukraine's anti-corruption drive included the arrest in September 2023 of billionaire Ihor Kolomoisky, who was considered by Zelensky's...
The financier? Israeli? Born? Or...
opponents to be his key backer for the presidential election campaign of 2019. Kolomoisky's home in the southeastern city of Dnipro was raided in February 2023 in a separate investigation into embezzlement and tax evasion, as he was alleged to have transferred $14 million abroad over 7 years using banks he controlled. But Zelensky did the same thing with his business partners. But critics say all of this is just a smokescreen, providing Zelensky cover for his own corruption, like American Democrats accusing Republicans of actions that they themselves have been doing for years. A few have accused Zelensky of not wanting a ceasefire or a peace deal because that would stop the money from coming in. One critic is Alexei Arestovich, a former top advisor to Zelensky, who has indicted his former boss. In a recent interview, Arestovich made the astonishing claim that he trusts Russian President Vladimir Putin more than his former boss Zelensky. This statement sent shockwaves around the world and raises fundamental questions about the credibility and integrity of the Ukrainian government. According to Arestovich, who served as Zelensky's advisor from 2020 to 2022, quote, Zelensky's leadership has been marked by corruption, incompetence, and a callous disregard for the welfare of the Ukrainian. By corruption, 2022, quote, Zelensky's leadership has been marked by corruption, incompetence, and a callous disregard for the welfare of the Ukrainian people. The Ukrainian president is more concerned with maintaining his own power and privilege than with serving the interest of his country. As conservative commentator Tucker Carlson has noted, the Ukrainian government is corrupt and incompetent, and it's no wonder that Arestovich has lost faith in Zelensky's leadership. Arestovich's comments are particularly significant given his former position of influence within the Zelensky administration. As a top advisor, he had access to sensitive information and was privy to the inner workings of the Ukrainian government. His claims of corruption and incompetence are therefore more credible and suggest that the problems within the Ukrainian government run far deeper than previously thought. As Senator Rand Paul has said, the Ukrainian government is a mess, and it's no wonder that Arestovich has spoken out against Zelensky's leadership. Arestovich describes Putin as a strong and effective leader, while acknowledging that Putin is a ruthless and cunning politician, and he believes that Putin is at least honest about his intentions and is willing to make tough decisions to protect the interest of his country. Conservative commentator Ann Coulter has said, Zelensky is a disaster, and it's no wonder Arestovich has spoken out against him. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said, Putin is a formidable leader who will stop at nothing to achieve his goals, and it's no wonder that Arestovich has a certain degree of respect for him. President Donald Trump himself has said, the situation in Ukraine is a mess and it's going to take a lot of work to fix it, referring to all the money being mismanaged. Also mentioned were Zelensky's shutting down the press, newspapers, and TV.
Oh.
Another problem are the
Oh, he didn't just censor the media, free speech, and everyone else. He just got rid of it. You know, use his own propaganda tool. Oh, here's the recruiting video.
Down the press, newspapers, and TV. Another problem are the press gangs, groups of soldiers who have been roaming the cities and villages, beating and kidnapping young men, forcibly taking them into the army. Many of these events have been recorded on video by Ukrainian citizens. Zelensky has denied these allegations. However, there is the major problem regarding the accusations that Zelensky is a de facto dictator, given what he has done with the media and other government officials, which President Trump stated due to his not allowing presidential elections. He also blamed Zelensky for not coming to the table to negotiate because war is so lucrative, which would explain so many U.S. politicians still supporting funding Ukraine without securing reimbursement guarantees. The cost in lives is still controversial, but the BBC posted the number at 95,000 Ukrainian military losses. Civilian casualties are conservatively numbered at 12,600, and with Russian losses at over 1 million as of February 2025, although Russia claims that their losses include killed and wounded and captured, are only 868,320. According to UNHCR's 2024 figures, about 3.7 million people are internally displaced within Ukraine. Another 6 million are currently living as refugees abroad, most of them in European countries such as Poland and Germany, with many in Canada and the USA. In essence, the invasion by Putin was a deliberate land grab that went wrong. He underestimated the will and resistance of the Ukrainian people and the willingness of the free world to assist Ukraine financially and militarily with weapons and other support. Whether Putin received bad military advice or if his ego played a major role, his one-week conquest of Ukraine has turned into an expensive 3-year-long nightmare and an international embarrassment. The Western European nations will still publicly support Ukraine resistance, while behind the scenes they want a peace deal. President Trump will not allow continued military aid because he also wants a deal with guarantees for the U.S. to be paid back with a mineral rights deal. But there is another rationale for Trump's
morning
position.
I read an article where Zelensky is trying to change the deal, and he's not going to sign it. And Trump's like, you know what, motherfucker? Essentially, see it and try it and see what happens.
If American and European companies and personnel are openly living and working in Ukraine, that fact alone would be a deterrent for another invasion by Putin. Recently, Zelensky has relented and sent a letter offering to enter into peace talks as well as signing over mineral rights to the U.S., who did not have any loan repayment guarantees under the Biden administration, whereas the European nations did secure those loan guarantees.
Oh.
Putin also appears to be ready for...
That's fucking insane. We spent more on this Ukrainian war than the entire Europe put together. Think about that.
For a deal, as the war is not very popular in his country either, and he is running out of men, money, materiel, and political will. If NATO agrees to not induct Ukraine, and if certain concessions are made by both parties, then peace may be the end result. Whether history remembers Zelensky as a transformational leader or a corrupt politician remains to be seen. So, in your opinion, is Volodymyr Zelensky corrupt, or is he just doing what is necessary for his country? We will let...
Oh! Well, you guys already know my thoughts. Is he corrupt? Abso-fucking-lutely. 100%. Years and years of corruption coming out of Ukraine doesn't just end with him. What if... Hold on, let me make sure I can get to this video. Because earlier I had to verify I was 18. Yep. All right, so this next video, it's a documentary from, well, it's way more than 3 years ago. It's going to go over a little bit of history of Ukraine and why or how that they pretty much like Israel and have been a problem for centuries. So Oliver Stone documentary. I don't know how YouTube's going to react to this one because, well, but it's on YouTube. So that's a... Idiots. That's a plus. Well, damn, documentary timing. Never mind.
Here in Kiev in recent days, the Maidan, Independence Square, has turned into a full-scale war zone.
More clashes in Ukraine's capital, Kiev.
There is absolutely no doubt that snipers are working here. I've counted 10 bodies.
Мы сегодня не знаем, кто стрелял у людей. Это проблема.
I kind of forgot. There's a lot of reading in this, so let me see if I can move my face. Nope, that's not what it was supposed to do. That's... What in the fuck? There we go. Let me play the video. I'll figure it out.
Now on the brink of a civil war. At least 70 dead so far, and the death toll rising.
Эти технологии, еще раз говорю, от них не застраховано ни одно государство.
What we saw here today was a revolution.
А хотите узнать, что происходило на Украине?
We've invested over $5 billion to assist Ukraine in these and other goals.
Вы знаете, в большой политике, о чем бы ни говорили, все равно будут говорить о деньгах.
NATO has expanded into 13 countries, up to the borders of Russia. 13 countries.
The focus has to be on not allowing this crisis to turn into hot war between Ukraine and Russia.
Эта тема очень опасная. Это тема войны. Сегодня спокойно никто не должен себя чувствовать.
Ukraine. It's an ancient and proud land with a rich history filled with much beauty, heroism, and sacrifice. Ukraine is a borderland, a place where East meets West. This is the flag of Ukraine. The blue represents the sky. The gold, its seemingly endless fields of wheat. Ukraine is a prize many have sought, and much blood is spilled in the quest to possess it. Ukraine has been the pathway for Western powers as they attempted to conquer the East in World War I and World War II. And every time, the Ukrainian people ended up paying the highest price for these grand games of power. History doesn't repeat, but it surely rhymes, said Mark Twain. If one looks closely at the history of Ukraine, one will notice many rhymes. Being surrounded by stronger powers, Ukraine has needed a lot of cunning to survive, and the art they truly mastered with time is the art of changing sides. In the middle of the 17th century, Ukrainian leader Bogdan Khmelnytsky broke a truce agreement made with Poland siding with more powerful Russia. Just over 50 years later, as the Russian-Swedish War was raging, another Ukrainian leader, Ivan Mazepa, broke the union with Russia when he switched sides, joining forces with the Swedish invaders. Many times, Ukrainian history was...
Oh. So you mean Ukraine switches sides with the changing of the winds? Or do they really switch sides?
Written by third parties. Seeking to keep the gains of a revolution at any cost, Russia agreed to the humiliating conditions of the Brest-Litovsk Treaty of 1918, which turned Ukraine into a German protectorate. Another historical document that changed the fate of Ukraine was the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact of 1939, one of many such agreements being signed between European countries and rising Germany. Attempting to protect his nation from the approaching Nazi threat, Joseph Stalin negotiated a treaty of non-aggression with Adolf Hitler. While promising each other peace, the Soviet and German foreign ministers Molotov and Ribbentrop realigned the map of Eastern Europe, splitting it into German and Soviet spheres of influence. No sooner had the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact been signed than Poland was split. And in September of 1939, Eastern Poland awoke to be Western Ukraine and a part of the family of Soviet republics and the USSR. But even this bold dividing of lands and nations only delayed the inevitable. Germany broke its promise to the USSR. On June 22, 1941, Germany invaded the USSR, launching Barbarossa, the largest military operation in world history. Barbarossa was aiming for St. Petersburg, Moscow, and Kiev, Ukraine, three destinations of major significance. Ukraine, with its rich lands and resources, was an important industrial and economic source for the USSR. To cut it off from the Soviet Union would strike a big blow indeed. For most of the Soviet Union, the Second World War was about fighting the invaders of their land. But it wasn't quite so simple for Ukraine. The truth is, Ukraine has never been a united country. When World War II broke out, a large part of Western Ukraine's population welcomed the German soldiers as liberators from the recently forced upon them Soviet rule, and openly collaborated with the Germans. The real scale of collaboration was not announced for many years after the war, but we now know that whole divisions and battalions were formed.
I knew that shit was going to happen. Oh, it's still going? It's trying to tell me that my stream is temporary. There it is. There it is. Oh. Always got to ruin a party, right? If you guys are watching another platform, yeah, this is going to be the end anyway. I think it's kind of fucked up that YouTube was like, you know what? We're just going to decide that we're going to not let you show what's, reality. But I bet you if I wanted to, like, The View, well, no, The View would censor me as well. Because they don't like it when people repost their bullshit. Oh my goodness. There's really not much I can do about that. It's a great fucking documentary, and I just don't know where it went. Fuck you, YouTube. Fuck you right in your asshole. Oh, look. Wait. How was I back for like 2 seconds and left? Huh. Is it back? No? Actually, I don't want to type that. I'm just going to say it when it comes back. Not yet. Rumble, sorry. X. There we go. How far behind is... Ooh, it's a pretty big... Dude, how are you detecting video streaming if I'm not even streaming anything right now, you stupid fucking Nazi? So the way I see it is YouTube basically wants to be Nazis and or Israelis, dirty Jews, because they don't want you to see how Ukraine is really, really way shittier than the mainstream media tells you it is. Obviously, because we all know it's propaganda. All media today is propaganda. How do I know this? Because for 50... Give me a second. Teach another history lesson while we're at it. Oh, what the fuck was that bill called? Mine's drawing a blank, guys. Obama prop. Oh, that's why I can't see it. There it is. So when it comes to news and propaganda, did you know for the longest time it was actually illegal in this country to use the government and media to spread propaganda? God damn it. There it is. The Smith-Mundt Act was not replaced. Correct, it was not replaced. It was definitely was repealed. Or amended, repealed, same thing. That basically in the 1940s, the government decided, hey, we're not going to spread propaganda. We can't spread propaganda. It's kind of illegal. And we're definitely not going to use it through the news. We all know that's bullshit because Operation Mockingbird. But in 2012, not repealed, he amended it to where the media companies can and will accept their news from the United States government and spread it as they see fit. We know that's happening. It happens all the time. And I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't, because you know what? Even Fox News does it. Right? People don't know. They just want to, oh, you're just some fuck. No, I fucking hate Fox News, to be honest. If we're going to be speaking the truth, I can't stand fucking Fox News. Well, again, I can't stand a bunch of these other networks because it's like they sit there on replay. You know what I mean? They just sit there and replay. Wow, I'm not even playing a video and I'm getting a heads up that it belongs to someone else. Huh. Interesting. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to, want me to talk about something specific? This is a free-for-all for the next 35 seconds. Because I was basically going to play that fucking documentary. Now I can't. Let's see. No, that's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of 18 and above, because we're all children to somebody. But there you go. There's a little bit of history on Vladimir Zelensky. A few cases of, people who should, have their faces seared off with a rusty blade that's been sitting in the fire for 35 minutes. Steel. I want it to be steel. I want it to be glowing red. Yes, I have had my eyeball licked, and I've licked plenty of eyeballs. Relax, Zippity. Relax. It's nothing like having your eyeball licked. Or licking someone else's eyeball. That's even more fun. It's more fun. So, anyway. I'm still... This is crazy. Are they trying to say I'm stealing my own stream? Anyway, ladies, gentlemen, I hope y'all have a good rest of the day. I'm not telling you how to think, because if I was telling you how to think, I would be YouTube. Huh? You only got to listen to what they say is okay. I'm just telling you to think, because that's the way society was supposed to be. Thinking and free will. But when you think, you got to back up some of the shit you say. And I see a lot of that not happening on like Facebook. Especially with like under like Fox or The Hill. People are so fucking stupid. They're like, oh, this must be true. When they're all fucking propaganda machines now. Hold on a second. What's this? Oh. Yeah. I think we will play that. Because I saw this. I actually didn't watch it yet, so thank you. We will now watch this. Well, let me pull it up real quick. That's not messages. Bro, my dog's fucking stomach is fucking crazy right now. Sounds like he's farting. Whoops, cancel. Yeah. Alright, here we go.
You don't have anything on you? You can just grab whatever you need.
Whatever I need?
Yeah, whatever you need, like your phone, your purse, go ahead and grab it.
Is she going somewhere? Or?
Yeah, we're going to explain everything to you guys.
Excuse me, is my husband coming with?
I watched this yesterday, matter of fact.
We're staying in touch with him. We're just going to Downers Grove, so 10 minutes away.
No, I know, but I really would prefer that my husband's with me.
Of course.
Am I in trouble? Like, I'm oh my god.
Why are you crying?
What the fuck?
Why are you crying? Oh, those are fake. Your nose isn't even running.
On Sunday, March 16th, 2025, officers from the Downers Grove Police Department stopped a vehicle on the 1300 block of Hughes Avenue in Downers Grove, an affluent village on the outskirts of Chicago, Illinois. This wasn't a routine traffic stop, nor did the person driving the vehicle commit any traffic violations. So why were they being stopped then? Well, the driver, 30-year-old Christina Formella, a high school teacher, had been the subject of an investigation that had been opened the day prior. The allegations? She allegedly assaulted one of her students and believed that she was in a relationship with him.
Hey, how you doing? Officer Guzman with Downers Grove. Do you have your license on you?
Yes. Tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna explain. I'm sure you're confused. I'll explain everything to you. You're Christina?
Yes.
Okay, Christina, do me a favor. Can you step out of the car for me? I know you're confused. I'll explain everything to you. You don't have anything on you? You can just grab whatever you need.
Whatever I need?
Yeah, whatever you need, like your phone, your purse, go ahead and grab it.
Is she going somewhere? Or?
Yeah, we're gonna explain everything to you guys.
Oh, that's the husband.
Go ahead and grab out. We're not going anywhere right now. Of course, yeah.
I don't understand what's going on here.
I get it, yeah. You can go grab your things.
Can he come with me?
Yeah.
First of all, true story. If I was a teenage boy in high school and I was approached by Mrs. whatever her name, and she's like, yo, Javi, let me get that dick. When I was a teenager boy back then, bro, I'd been like, hell yeah. Let's go. And now you get as an adult, and you're like, wow, that seems pretty gross. Times have changed. I guess when you become a man, that shit goes, are you kidding me? Are you fucking serious? Well, we're going to continue this video. If it fucking goes out, it goes out.
Yes, yes. You stay there for right now, sir. Just stay there, but yes, you can. But come on back here.
Should I shut the car off?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
That's turning it on.
Goes off. Okay. Let's right back over here. So, we do have an investigation going on. We have to talk to you about it at the police department, okay? So we're going to explain everything to you there.
He knows now.
It's not my investigation. I don't know the full details. We do have to bring you there, though, okay? So I do have to put you in handcuffs and bring you to the police department. Just a Downers Grove.
Handcuffs?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
I'm like willing to go with you.
I get it, yeah. Unfortunately, we have to do it that way. So do me a favor, we just take this off.
Can I ask you
Of course, yeah. It's not, like I said, it's not my investigation. Obviously, we're here for a reason. So go ahead and turn around for me. So right now you're just being detained, and there is a detective that needs to talk to you at the police department. So we'll let your husband know. No, he can just come to the police department as well if he wants to wait for you there.
I'm like...
I get it. You have a lot of questions.
So scared.
You're so scared,
It's
huh?
okay. We just need to talk to you at the police department. That's all. Nothing else on your pocket right now? Anything else?
Just my phone.
Just your phone?
Here.
Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to sit in the back of this car. On the other side. Once you get to the police department, you'll talk to the detective and he'll explain everything to you.
But you can't even give me like an idea.
At the
No,
moment,
he's the arresting officer.
other than that it's an investigation, that's all I can really tell you right now. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you more.
Not much is known about Christina. Remember, she was arrested less than a month ago, so it isn't difficult to see why no information has emerged. But we do know that in 2017, she received a teaching license for language arts and as a learning behaviour specialist. With those qualifications on board, she would eventually go on to secure employment at the Downers Grove South High School in 2021. This is the school where the allegations would ultimately emerge from. She wasn't just a teacher at the school, she also volunteered to be the football coach, or for my US viewers, the soccer coach. So what was said to have happened?
You look like a student.
Well, on Saturday, March 15th, 2025, the mother of one of the students who attended the school purchased her son a brand new iPhone. For those of you who don't know, as part of the setup process, you need to sign into an iCloud account, which is exactly what she did. She logged into her son's iCloud account. While doing so, she came across some messages from Christina that were in nature, and they also showed that Christina thought she was in a relationship with the boy. After this discovery was made, both mother and son would present themselves to a local police
Which is crazy because
station
she's
and handed
married.
over the findings. Once a detective went through the phone, they found even more evidence that solidified the mother's suspicions, and so the next day, Christina was arrested. Police had identified that in December of 2023, the boy, who would have been years old at the time, had been assaulted by Christina in one of the classrooms. She had met him during football practice, but had found herself giving him one-on-one tutoring lessons by December of 2023. Her police interview hasn't been released to the public as of yet, but an excerpt has. She denied the allegations made against her and claimed, quote, "Everybody comes after me because I'm good looking. I'm a good person and care too much for the boy."
Oh.
Excuse me, is my husband coming with?
Yeah, he's taking his phone number down. We're staying in touch with him. We're just going to Downers Grove, the 10 minutes away.
No, I know, but I really would prefer that my husband's with me.
Of course.
Is he your lawyer?
Am I in trouble? Like, I'm so lost right now. I'm
sure you are. Like I said, I can't answer any questions right now. Other than just to tell you that right now you're being detained for an investigation and we're bringing you to the police department. And once you get there, they're going to fill you in on everything.
Oh, now she knows.
I'm just going to put your seatbelt on. Unless you're able to reach it down there.
Okay, she's really crying.
Sure you don't want a tissue or something?
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Want a bag?
Yes, please.
Make sure you throw up into your shirt.
Shauna, can you grab like a bag out of there? Hey, can you get like a bag just in case she gets nauseous?
Paper bag.
I don't know, do we have any of those Emesis bags?
A wet paper
like,
bag.
around the farm? I figure something better than nothing. Or here, if you stay with her, I'll go grab it.
Oh my god.
Christina has since been charged with 1 count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse and 1 count of criminal sexual assault. At her initial court appearance on Monday, March 17th, the judge denied the prosecution's motion to keep Christina detained, and she was released on bail. Her conditions include no contact with anyone under the age of 18, and she isn't allowed to go back into the school. She couldn't go back to the school anyway because she's also been placed on paid administrative leave amid the investigation. For those of you who want to keep tabs on this case moving forward, her next court appearance is set for April 14th, 2025, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. There should be quite a lot of coverage surrounding this case, as there already has been leading up to this point.
Fuck you, I didn't
Now,
know about it
it would be
till
at
this
this
now.
point where I normally say a few words on the case, but because it's so fresh and given the nature of the offences,
Dumb bitch. Hopefully you get what you deserve. And hopefully your husband's already fucking divorced your ass, but for some reason, I don't think he has. He's probably been at your side the entire time. You know? Your husband's probably a cuck. Just saying. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like I said, I'm not telling you how to think, I'm just telling you to think. And, bro, she's fucking hot enough to get adults. So why not fuck other adults? There are plenty of them that are 18 and above. You stupid bitch. God. Anyway, hope y'all have a good rest of your day. It is Monday, so hopefully I spread joy for the entire week. Get it? If you know, you know. What else? I think I had one more thing to say.